everybody, and welcome back to the Wilderness Survival School, where we talk everything wilderness survival and preparedness. I'm PJ Bushcraft, and welcome back. This morning I have some coffee on. I got some bacon cooking here on low. I got some wild edibles that I collected just within 15 feet, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. And I have it here with a little bit of egg and cheese that I'm going to add to this to make like a scramble. Basically in here all I have is wild plantain, I have violet, wild onion, wild lettuce, and dandelion. I had it out here and I was going to chop it up for you, but the wind was not helping me, so I went ahead and pre-chopped it, and it's in this right now. Now the importance of wild edibles. If you're in a bushcraft survival situation possibly, you need to know what you're looking at and be instructed on what its medicinal properties are, how it's, and when to prepare it, and when to eat it, ingest it, what it can go with. And I have some books here that have really helped me in my journey as well, along with being instructed. Now, the first book we have right here is the Illustrated Guide to Edible Wild Plants by the Department of the Army. It has full color pictures, it tells you exactly when to get it, the edible parts, habitat, and the description of it. And also sometimes if it's a dangerous plant will give you a caution. Most of these books will have the similar explanations, but the difference is in being some of them actually have medical remedies and how to do that. I really love that. Now, when we're talking another book, Edible Wild Plants, right here, a North American Field Guide to over 200 natural foods. I love this book too. I love it because of the little diagrams that it has on the side. It literally tells you what you can cook, when to do it. It shows you what type of the year, the altitude, and what season that these wild edibles be around, so you can be able to locate them. Having a field guide like this, even in a preparedness, grid down situation, you don't have the internet. You need to have something like this on hand so you could navigate through wild edibles. And it could really show you an abundance of food that's just right outside your door. And again, it took me not even 5 minutes walking my dog, and I had this ready to go. And The Lost Ways, you've probably seen ads for this. At first I was skeptical of this book. It is fantastic. Not only does it talk about shelters, how to make your own gas masks, how to make activated charcoal. I mean, it goes into in-depth how the Native Americans made their underground homes, how to navigate. And it has a very, very nice section on wild edibles. I just have here the dandelion. And I mean, this thing, identification, edibility, as a remedy, I mean, it tells you exactly if it's an effective as a cleaning agent, diuretic, laxative, tonic, and as a potassium supplement. This is invaluable information. Yes, once you know it and once you're familiar with the plants, you're not going to have a problem with identifying them. I didn't need any book or reference to go out right outside my door and get these because I'm familiar with them. Again, that's something that you're going to want to do and be proficient, especially in a grid down or a survival situation that could be, really dampening to your family if you don't have that proper information. Again, there's another book, The Healing Power, Fruits, Vegetables, and Herbs. This book is extraordinary. It talks about utilizing tinctures from beets for cancer. I mean, this thing, it goes in depth, very much so, on so many herbs. And some of them are common in your own grocery store. And not only that, but you can pair it with one of these books for wild edibles and be able to make some strong concoctions and herbal remedies for your family for the health and benefit of you and them. My favorite lady was on alone. That's how I found out about her. Nicole, I hope I don't butcher this. Forgive me if I do. Nicole Aplion. This book has the nicest pictures, geographical locations of where everything is located, how to use it as a remedy, how to make it into a tincture. I mean, every single thing you need to know about these wild edible plants, and there is a ton. I think there's about 400 of them in here. And it's North American edition, so in North America. Sorry guys if you're not in there, I apologize. But having a resource like this is just absolutely invaluable, especially in a situation, just baking, cooking. Oh, Maple bacon. I don't know about y'all, but maple bacon is off the chain. All right, I'm telling you right now. I hate it for you. If you don't like maple bacon, you need to not subscribe or like or nothing. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it for you, yourself, or your family. You know what I mean? I'm trying to help you out. Oh, and this coffee's gonna get brewing, and I'm excited for it. Of course, I'm using a Stanley Camp press, so it's just like a French press. Just as soon as it starts boiling, I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna press this down. I already got my cup here, ready to rock and roll. And I guess I'm overwhelmed because a lot of the people that you would bring out who are even in the preparedness community, and they might have all these preps, all this canned food, or even a garden even. Most of the stuff that is wild is already naturally has immunity to pests. They're super strong. They grow in the coldest of climates, come right back up. I mean, some of this stuff, the Native Americans were very smart in what they did. They would go out actively finding these wild edibles and attractants from other prey, and they planted all around in abundance around where they lived. That's extremely smart. We need to take that into consideration in our foraging. Take a couple home. I have my haversack here. Again, I have a belt haversack. Boom, boom, throw it right in there. I mean, you got yourself a meal, calorically dense, helps your immune system, and you can pair it with small fish, wild game, anything of this. I mean, you're not going to have a problem. And it's just going to make you and your family that much more comfortable in a situation. And, you know, that's what it's all about. Just having that peace of mind is something that most people lack. And again, I advocate, you know, the knowledge is weightless. Your gear, your preps, all that stuff is cumbersome. It's heavy. Once you go out with these books, you find out your area and during the seasons, which ones grow more prolific, you're gonna be way more comfortable in the outside. It's gonna make it more enjoyable for cooking and anything else. You're gonna have that peace of mind. You can say, hey, we can get our stuff up right now, and we can go, and we're gonna be fine. This bacon going. Turn this up a little bit. And I got a great video coming out talking about the stoves and twig stoves, which I advocate. And I got a comparison of all the best twig stoves, and we're going to go over that, kind of go over the history of what this stuff does, how it works, and why you need it in your go bags in any kind of situation. Not only that, does it give you a surface above the ground. Some of them are designed so good where there's not even going to get a smoke. If you needed to be and have an incognito fire, there are some of those twig stoves that will do that for you. And I like it better than sometimes having a fire on the ground. A lot of the leave no trace guys like that stuff. What it is it's going to concentrate most of the fire, most of the energy into one area. It's going to boil your stuff a lot quicker. It's just going to get it done. Can't wait for this coffee. I've been waiting for this all morning, and it was windy, and I thought to myself, you know what? I got to get out here. I got to talk to these people. I got so much information that I want to share. And when I walked out and I saw the dog sniffing around, and I started looking, and I said, you know what? It's time to do some wild edible talk. So this bacon's going to get a little done. And then, like, all I did here is I added 1 egg for every wild edible plant. So I had 5 wild edibles after I diced them up, and I had a good amount of each one of them. And I added 1 egg for each one of those. So that's kind of how that works. I'm just going to add this directly in to the diced bacon that I have here. Oh, yeah, look at that. Buddy. My dog cannot help himself. I'll let you dabble maybe, buddy. Maybe, if you're a good boy. It'll be good. I'm just going to mix this up really good. And this is easy, simple. You don't need to add the bacon. I add the bacon because I like bacon. It's just a very simple thing to do. Camping. Definitely to show somebody, for friends, and to be able to get yourself familiar with the different flavors, because a lot of these wild edibles, they do have a definitely distinct flavor. I mean, you're dealing with something that's not been extremely processed. It doesn't have pesticides on it. You're dealing with something that's completely off the landscape, and that's a whole different palate. A lot of the stuff does taste extremely familiar. You'll eat some wild plantain, and you're just like, wow, this tastes almost exactly like lettuce. And then you might even have an acquired taste of that. But I've found the more wild edibles you eat, when you get your store-bought vegetables and you take them home and eat them, you're going to taste something different. You're like, this tastes something that's a little off. The wild onions that you've probably seen everywhere. Every time I tell somebody, you know what that is? And they're like, grass. They have no idea that they are actually staring at an awesome food. It's one of my favorites, especially on the trail. Just grabbing it, cutting it, putting it in your haversack. Easy peasy. And especially if you had yourself a little homestead, a couple of pigs, chickens that do that, you can go off on your hikes and be sure that you can just fill up your haversack, and buddy, I'm telling you right now, you can have meals constantly at all times and not have to worry about it. There's so much food surrounding you. These books, and I will always keep these books because they are such a fantastic source. And I don't know everything in these books. I mean, I constantly, if I see something, I'm like, let me sure, I'll find it. And 9 chances out of 10, it's in here. Especially during the climate, the season, the altitude. It plays a big part in what you're looking at. And just being a part of that makes you more closer to nature and understanding and having that preparedness mindset, that ease of mind that, you know what, I can get through anything. I know that if I was in an accident and it was spring, I know what wild edibles are approximately at this altitude. Not only that, Steve, it's my hypothetical random guy that I'm with in my camping situation, Steve is hungry. We have traps, we haven't caught anything. Can I procure enough calories? You know, I take the dandelion roots, I save them because I roast them for a coffee substitute. Just there's so many fantastic things you can do. Another fantastic plant that you should plant in your homestead, or have the seeds on hand for a preparedness situation, is sunflower. The whole plant can be used. It could be, grind down to flour. The rhizomes are just like potatoes. I can just chop them up, mix them with a little salt and pepper, and put them in a frying pan. It's good. You can fire roast them. I mean, there's just so like cattail. Cattail's another one. The whole thing is pretty much edible. I mean, it's just a fantastic plant to have. Yes, there are certain climates you're not going to have it, but there are some, especially like in Florida, and we're here in the Georgia mountains. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I haven't seen very many of them, but down in Florida, you could live off of cattail if you did it right. Keep this going. Be sure my stuff is on here. Went out on me. See, I told you that stupid wind. And we're gonna talk about all this too, all the wonderful stuff that I carry. A lot of people, they say it's like you're like a redneck Batman. Well, I'll take it. Everything that I have on my EDC has a specific designated purpose for preparedness, survival, and I utilize everything, and I can teach everything that I have. This coffee's getting close too. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ain't nothing like cowboy coffee. Cowboy French press coffee. Let me cut this off. It's about that time. And I love this because you could just take this and directly put it in here like that. On my plate here. A lot of times if it was just me, I would just drink it as is and let it cool down. It's not designed to be beautiful, folks. But it is kind of beautiful, I'm fine. Oh man. That's what I'm talking about. Oh man. That's good stuff. Nothing like a little wild edible scramble. And I wanted to do it a different video. I wanted to be able to you people to actually see who I am. The things that I love. There's just no need in people, not doing what they're talking about. And I can't stand that. And there are times where I'm not doing what I need to be doing too. But we can all come together and make a bushcraft scramble. Look at that. Oh. I don't know if you can see that. That's just awesome. That's just bomb.com right there. I'm be sure my dog's looking at me like, I seen it. No, sir. Almost done here. Oh. Turn that a little bit on low. Let it just finish up here for just a second. Oh man, it's good stuff. And there are other things you're going to learn, especially when you realize that a lot of this stuff you can substitute. Coffee, for instance, it's great to have it. It runs out. If you know how to supplement coffee by roasting your own dandelion roots, you got yourself a good situation. Plant dandelions everywhere. They are absolutely wonderful plant to have. Super edible. And I think my scramble is ready. Easy peasy meal for you and your family. I love it. And I look forward to having the other videos in regards to all the stoves. I'll be releasing that one next. And I think you'll really like it. I think you'll think these things are so cool because I think they're so cool. Some of them fold on themselves. Some of them you take apart and they fold flat. Others can fit right into a cup. I just love it. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Let's get a good view of that. Can you see that? Oh man, that looks good. Well, I got hot sauce to put on this and I got breakfast to eat and coffee to drink. I am glad I could show you how simple and easy it is just to make a quick scramble with some wild edibles you can find right outside your house, right outside your door. Don't eat stuff by the road. People don't be. I want to advocate that. Don't be on the side of the road picking the stuff. The reason is a lot of this stuff absorbs a lot of the chemicals that come from your car and the drain wash off. And just be sure you're, a good distance away from the road before you start picking any of that stuff. And thank you so much for enjoying this time with me and joining me at the Wilderness Survival School. And I'm just so thankful to be able to do this for you, and I look forward to doing it more and more. Stay off the concrete, and until next time.